Traveling for business or leisure doesn't need to hinder your fitness transformation journey. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5-step travel blueprint to continue getting results no matter where you are in the world. Right from what to do at the airport, on the flight, the differences between business and leisure travel, and ultimately how to eat and train when you're out of your normal environment. At the end, I'll also share some sample workouts you can use with minimal or no equipment. These 5 steps are the same systems we've used in over 4,000 success stories at RNT Fitness, all of which travel regularly for work or leisure. For example, busy executive Hemel here dropped over 70 pounds whilst traveling every 1 to 3 weeks for business in and around the US. And Siddle here, busy mum and business owner, got into the best shape of her life on a vegetarian diet whilst traveling regularly between the UK and China. In the past 18 months alone, I've traveled for over 6 months whilst maintaining a six-pack and following a vegan diet. So I'm going to share what actually works in the real world. Step 1, the travel mindset and expectations. Ever since I started working as a trainer in 2010, I've always worked with clients who had busy and demanding travel schedules. This isn't easy, but at the same time, isn't a reason to not achieve the results you deserve, because let's face it, travel isn't going to slow down. I'm personally vegan, so it's not always easy traveling or eating at restaurants. So the mindset I apply is simple. I can always control how much I put in my mouth. Even if the food isn't optimal or I can't find any healthy alternatives, I can always control how much I eat. If you do this one thing, traveling automatically becomes easier. When you apply this mindset to the practical strategies I'm about to share, getting leaner or staying lean when traveling becomes a reality. Another key part of the travel mindset is understanding the goal. If you can maintain your results when traveling, I'd consider it to be a job well done. Any loss, if the goal is weight loss, is a bonus. But maintenance here is a goal in and of itself. What I like to tell people who travel frequently is if you can maintain it when away, use the periods in between to push harder to get the weight loss you want. The overall process may take a little longer, but it's better than getting nowhere. This applies for both business and leisure travel. One caveat, if it's a business trip or holiday in the middle of a time-sensitive deadline, like a photo shoot or a wedding or anything similar, you need to be on it. You may need to do a few things here when traveling, like picking self-catered accommodation and cooking everything from scratch, or finding well-equipped gyms in advance. If you're up against the clock, you want to shift from the 80-20 rule to as close as 100% as possible. Step 2, the travel transit rules. Door to door, the initial transit can take anywhere from 4 to 24 hours, depending on where you're traveling. This can leave a lot of room for error, and if you're not careful, can set the wrong tone for the rest of the trip. If you can exert a little discipline on the outbound journey, you'll find yourself less fatigued and prone to jet lag. This is especially true for those traveling on business, where they need to stay sharp. Business trips are usually stacked with back-to-back meetings, so if you're flagging, you won't be at your most productive. Let's start with the flight. The number one thing you need to stay on top of is hydration. Air cabin humidity is significantly low on a plane, so we need to try and consume at least 250 ml of fluid for every hour above the ground to help offset dehydration symptoms. The worst thing you could do at this time is to start drinking alcohol. Nothing could be more damaging for body composition, as you'll not only increase dehydration, but also consume empty calories and probably be more likely to make poor choices after. My most successful clients, both in their businesses, careers, and their body composition results, all adhere to the rule of avoiding alcohol when on the plane. And they recommend it to their employees too, as they know the impact it'll have on their focus, productivity, and performance on the other side. Plane food is tricky. What I tell people is to pick from one of the 4 following options. Number 1, pack your meals with you for the journey. This is the most optimal, and if you've got a time-sensitive deadline or you're away strictly for business, I'd recommend this option. Whenever I travel, I always like to pack a mix of protein oats, so I'm not worried about airport or plane options. Number 2, buy your food at the airport. This can be risky, as not all airports are equipped with healthy food. The UK airports are great, as there's almost always a Pret or an M&S. However, I found most airports to be more fast food focused. And if you're vegan, the options are very, very thin. Bar some fruit and maybe some protein bars. In fact, I remember recently traveling via Texas to Cabo, expecting to pick up a nice vegan meal at the airport, only to be rejected at every restaurant with nothing but a smile and salad options. Number 3, fast. This is a good option for short flights, less than 4 hours, or overnight flights. In the latter option, it'll also help you regulate your meal times again, so it's breakfast in your new location. Number 4, eat plain food, but be diligent. This is the least optimal, but I know some people won't do any of the previous 3 options, no matter what. In this case, you have to be diligent and not take the piss. Plain food can be hit or miss. I've had some good meals, and I've also had some terrible ones. so I check beforehand before taking this option. For anyone worried about what they can take on a plane from a legal perspective, Tupperware with all types of solid food, protein powder with shakers, just no water, and packs of meat and fish or general fridge food are all fine. Be careful of gel-like foods such as nut butters, as I think you're only allowed limited amounts, so it's probably best to avoid it. I'd also avoid any nuts, as almost always there's going to be someone on the plane who potentially has a nut allergy. Step 3. How to eat when abroad. Business trips and holidays tend to have two things in common: lots of eating out and lots of alcohol. If the goal is damage limitations, the following 5 strategies are key. Number 1, start your day right. I always eat the same breakfast, whether I'm traveling or I'm at home: oats, protein powder, fruit, and if available, some nuts and nut butter. This meal keeps me going for 4 to 5 hours and helps set the tone for later on. Since turning vegan, I found packing protein powder to be essential for travel, else you won't have any breakfast options available. If you eat everything, you can always rely on eggs at a hotel breakfast. Number 2, eat 3 main meals a day. If you normally eat 4 to 6 meals a day, dropping to 3 helps control calories. This will also allow you to eat bigger meals when you do eat and make sure you don't miss out socially. Dinner is usually when you go to nice restaurants or have entertainment events, so I'd recommend trying to eat lighter in the first 2 meals and saving more calories for the evening. Number 3, plan your protein. One thing that helps control cravings and hunger is keeping protein intake up, even when abroad. If you're not only eating 3 main meals when abroad, but need something in between, your best bet is to pack some travel-friendly snacks like protein bars or beef jerky. If you're vegan, you will need to plan ahead, as you won't get protein by accident. Apps like Happy Cow can be great at identifying good local spots which serve vegan food. I use this pretty much everywhere I go, and I always do a search whenever I land into a new place. Number 4, be adaptable. I've been in many places where there's minimal vegan foods on any menu or supermarkets. In Mexico, for example, I'd get creative by asking for refried beans, avocado, and tortilla wraps, with a boatload of veg. During a safari in South Africa, I bought a tin of black beans in a petrol station and asked the chef, who thought eating chicken was vegetarian, to prep beans with veg and rice. It wasn't perfect, but just needed to be done to avoid eating very little. Even if you're not vegan, you may be in situations where all you can control is how much you eat rather than what you eat. Number 5, don't eat beyond fullness. A mental cue I use now more than ever when eating, especially when travel, is simple. When I'm full, stop. When you force yourself beyond fullness, weight gain becomes inevitable. Your body is smart, so listen to it. This can be a really great guide when you're out and about, but you do need to tune into it. Next up is alcohol. Travel usually means alcohol, whether it's at a client entertainment event or you're out with your friends or significant other. If you must drink, the key is to stick to one type. Try to avoid beer and stick to clean spirits with no or diet mixers. Alcohol has the greatest potential to cause slip-ups with the diet, so if you can, try to limit it to 2 to 3 drinks max and stay hydrated throughout. Alcohol isn't inherently bad, it's more the decisions you make under the influence that may sabotage your fitness gains more than anything. When you've had a few and feel tipsy, you're far more likely to grab a dirty burger than a healthy salad. By the way, before we dive into the 4th step, if you're a busy professional who wants to get into the best physical and mental shape of your life, but you want to eliminate all the guesswork along the way and want support with your results when traveling, book a call with my team to see how we can help you. Simply go to www.rntfitness.com/pro or click the link in the description. Step 4, travel identity. I was at a recent RNT workshop in New York and a few members asked me what my travel nutrition strategy was. When I shared how simple it was, basically the blueprint I've shared so far in this video, they were surprised. Traveling and staying in shape comes with no real secret hack. Most of your success lies in your behavior, mindset, and identity. If you're someone who cares about your health and fitness, you will simply act differently. Over time, you'll learn to do the mental maths of what you're eating automatically. You'll be drawn towards meals with protein. You'll eat 1 dessert, not 3. And you'll auto-regulate your calories without calculations, without using apps. Your snacks will be a protein bar with fruit you picked up from earlier in the day, not whatever you can scramble. And if you're left with poor choices, you'll control how much you put in your mouth. Travel can be stressful for many when it comes to managing your fitness. But if you adopt this identity, it just becomes another day. There are no secret hacks, only the person you want to be. Step 5, how to train when abroad. When I'm training on the road for business or leisure, I follow 3 simple strategies. Number 1, I train as soon as I land and or first thing in the morning. I picked this tip up from professional wrestler Triple H, who said one of WWE's secrets to staying fresh and focused during their manic travel schedule was to do something when they land in their new destination. Number 2, I focus on getting in a workout, not the perfect workout. The setup you have won't be as optimal, but it doesn't matter. It's the reps that count. And number 3, I try to mimic the workouts I do at home, but if I can't, I pick similar exercises, train hard, and most of all, have fun with it. When you're abroad, you probably don't want to spend much time in the gym. You want efficiency and bang for your buck. That's why I love these 3 workout styles. The first is HIIT. Simple but effective. 10 to 20 minutes is all you need to get some real work in. All hotel gyms have some form of cardio equipment, and at the very least, a treadmill. I'd keep HIIT super simple when abroad and just go half for 20-30 seconds, followed by 60 to 90 seconds at a slower pace or rest, and then just repeat for the allocated time you have. The second is time paired stations. If you're strapped for equipment, the best thing you can do is to pick non-competing exercises, set a rep target for each exercise, and perform as many back and forth as you can in the time you have. For example, you could do dumbbell overhead presses paired with split squats for 10 to 15 reps each for 20 minutes. The next day, you can do dumbbell bent over rows with chest presses. You get the idea. And the third is bodyweight and band circuits. There really isn't any excuse not to get these done. They can be done anywhere with little space required. Here's an example circuit I like. You perform it with no rest between each exercise and 60 to 90 seconds at the end of each circuit, completing anywhere from 3 to 8 rounds of it. The first exercise is squeeze push-ups for 10 to 15 reps. As you go down, you squeeze your hands in against the ground to activate your chest more, and you can make this easier by doing normal press-ups or elevating your hands, or you can make it harder by elevating your feet, or if you have a band, using that for resistance. Then you go into 1.5 rep Bulgarian split squats, which are brutal. 10 to 15 reps each leg. You go all the way down, come up halfway, go back down, then come up for 1 rep. You can make this easier by doing normal split squats, or you can make it harder by slowing the tempo down so it's 5 seconds down, pause at halfway, and then 3 seconds up. Then you go into YTWLs for 3 reps each at 10 seconds in each position. You want to squeeze your upper back on each move. Now the upper back is tough to train with no equipment at all, so the best alternative will be pull-aparts with a band. And then you go into single leg hip thrusts with your foot elevated for, again, 10 to 15 reps each leg. To make these easier, you can do them on the floor. To make them harder, you can add pauses or add reps. After you've completed the above, you want to move on to the following metabolic section, where you want to aim to complete 3 to 5 rounds with no rest between exercises and 60 seconds at the end of each circuit. The circuit is as follows: plank to press up, 10 reps a side; reverse lunges, 10 to 15 reps a side; mountain climbers, 10 to 15 reps a side; and then super slow squats, where for 10 reps, you go 5 seconds down and then 5 seconds up. Another great idea I like is to take a few resistance bands to upgrade your bodyweight workouts. Here's an example band routine you can use with no other equipment in your hotel room. The exercise order may look weird, but I've deliberately put compound exercises after isolation ones so that you won't need super thick bands to get more stimulation. You want to aim to complete 3 to 5 rounds with no rest between exercises and take 60 to 90 seconds at the end of each one. Using a band, you go pull-aparts to the hairline for 10 reps, pull-aparts to the neck for 10 reps, pull-aparts to your chest for 10 reps, bent over rows for 30 reps, bicep curls for 10 reps, lateral raises for 10 reps, overhead tricep extensions for 10 reps, resisted press-ups for 10 reps, hip thrusts with the band around your knees, 30 reps, squats with the band around your knees, again for 30 reps, and then V-ups for 10 to 15 reps. This is the only exercise not involving bands because it's easy to train the abs without it. These are just examples. Feel free to get inventive and even perhaps combine the 2 styles of training together. Traveling doesn't need to hold you back with your fitness. Hopefully after watching this, you'll realize that time aboard can be used to maintain and even possibly progress your gains. Focus on what you can control and make the best choices with what you can. This way, when you come back, you'll be ready to push on further and accelerate your results. If you know of anyone who travels regularly and struggles with their training and nutrition, please feel free to share this video with them.